Hello, and thank you for watching this video. For those of you who don't recognize this voice, this is Ellen Spangenberg, and I am the club director of LaxManiax. The date today is May 7th, and this video is for all Maniacs families, parents, players, and even coaches. My hope is that this video will prepare you for the summer and answer some commonly asked questions. It's really important that you take about 30, hopefully no more than 40 minutes to listen to this video and familiarize yourself with everything in it. What I'm going to go over is the summer event schedule for LaxManiax, local practices, head coaching staff, administrative support staff, different programs in our club, team breakdowns, and then the really important part is the need-to-knows, which are going to be the commonly asked questions, and then the website review, such as Athleon, the LaxManiax website, and even the email. To begin, I'm just going to do a brief overview of our tournament schedule for the summer of 2015. To start off, we have our Maniacs Day. This is our big welcome back event of the summer. It will be normally from noon to 5 p.m. It is on May 30th in Apopka, Florida. We chose Apopka because they have a great facility and it's a central region for all members in our club since we are a statewide program. Maniacs Day was included in your membership yearly fees, so you do not need to register individually for it or pay anything else for it. It is mandatory for all of our members, so if you plan on not attending Maniacs Day, please let your local director know. Our next event is Lax Life Play Day. This is the same weekend as Maniacs Day, and it's at the same facility. It's a one-day event. It's the first time our CDP girls, College Development Program teams, will be playing together. So it is mandatory for those teams. It is also mandatory for our local North Florida regional team, and it is optional for our Select 2019s and anyone in our middle school elite program. I've been made aware of a conflict with Under Armour tryouts. So again, if my CDP girls, you plan on not attending Lax Life Play Day, then you need to let your head CDP coach know, or you can let me know. Again, that is a mandatory event. It's important that you're there and you get to play with your team for the first time for the summer. It's a great opportunity to get all the kinks worked out before you go into our next event, the SAT, which is a recruiting event. So our next big event is the Southern Alliance Tournament. This is on the first weekend in June, and it's the next weekend right after Maniacs Day and Lax Life Play Day. It's June 6th and 7th. Now on that Friday, June 5th, we'll be having a training day / practice. It's mandatory for our CDP girls to be at this practice, but it is optional and open to anyone else in our club. So any Select 2019, any middle school player, and anyone on our NFL team are more than welcome to join us for the practice. If you cannot come to the practice and it was mandatory for you, so I'm talking to my CDP girls, please let one of your coaches know, or you can let me know. We just want to have effective and timely communication so we can properly plan a practice plan. Going into the SAT, it is mandatory for our College Development Program girls and our NFL team. It is an optional tournament for our Select 2019s and our middle school elite girls. So when I say optional, I mean you don't have to go to it. You get to choose whether or not you would like to attend this event. Then we go into our big Mid-Atlantic tour. This is a mandatory event for our CDP 2016s, 2017s, 2018s, and CDP 2019s. It will begin on June 13th and go through the 21st. The reason I have June 12th on there is because that is the big travel day that you're going to want to use and schedule your flights on for the Mid-Atlantic tour. The Mid-Atlantic tour consists of a tournament, a camp, and then a tournament. The first tournament is called Lax Inception, and it is in Maryland. It is on June 13th and the 14th. The schedule has not been released yet, but the schedule should be coming out on May 15th. If you'd like to check out their website on that date, it should be posted then. On Sunday night, so June 14th, you will drop your girls off at Towson University if you're a buddy parent. If you are solo, we will take your girls to Towson University from the Lax Inception. and I will get to more details about buddy parent versus solo travel and specific travel dates when I go to the Need to Know Commonly Asked Questions section at the end of this PowerPoint. Then we have LaxU Camp from June 15th through June 19th. LaxU Camp has never been, and it is not included in your tournament packages or any fees you've paid before. LaxU Camp is a camp, it's not a tournament, so it's treated completely separate. It is mandatory for all players in our CDP program who are not committed. If you are committed and you still would like to go, then you're more than welcome to join us. Each day at LaxU Camp, college coaches are going to come and run practice in the morning. You'll be practicing with your specific team. They'll do a question and answer section and talk about their school, and then in the afternoon we will do college tours. I sent out a link to my CDP girls with a survey where they could vote for different schools that they were interested in touring. So make sure you check your emails or check the group me's that I made with some of the teams already for that link, so you can fill it out and have a say in where we go and visit. All meals are paid for, included in that fee, stay in the dorms, transportation, all of the above, so it's all inclusive. Then we are going to go into the Champions Cup on the last weekend and the National Draw. There are two separate events because the class of 2019 is currently not allowed in any IWLCA event. So the Champions Cup is an IWLCA event, and they're not allowed in it yet. So our 16s, 17s, and 18s will be getting up on the morning of June 19th and traveling on over to Virginia. Our 2019s will be doing the same thing and traveling on over to New Jersey. For the Champions Cup, there are games scheduled that evening on June 19th, so it's important that we get there in a timely manner. But for the National Draw, I believe the games do not start until Saturday and Sunday. I did post the link for the Champions Cup schedule on Athleon. It was released a long time ago, so that has been up on the website, and you can take a look at that. I will also discuss some specific solo versus buddy travel options that you have for the Mid-Atlantic Tour. That was a big commonly asked question, so I will address that later in this PowerPoint. While our CDP girls are at the Mid-Atlantic Tour, we have an option for our select 2019s in our middle school program to attend the Father's Day Invitational. This is on June 13th and 14th in the Flagler Beach area, and it is an optional tournament for you to choose to attend. Going into July, we have two events available for you in July. The first is the Heat Wave. It's a fun 7v7 event in Flagler Beach. It is only mandatory for our NFL team, but it is optional for anyone else. It's a great event, lots of fun. I highly recommend it for our middle school members and then any CDP girls wanting to stay fresh for the Capital Cup. Last event of the summer, like I mentioned, is the Capital Cup. Please pay attention to these dates. It is July 17th through the 20th. The tournament's really popular, so they split it up over 4 days. If you are a 2016 or a 2018, you will play on the 17th and the 18th. If you are 2017, you will play on the 19th and the 20th. So keep those dates in mind when scheduling flights. This is a mandatory event for our 2018s, and it is optional for our CDP 2016s and 17s. We have one team entered for 2016s that I need to fill, and one team entered for 2017s that I need to fill. So that is first come, first serve for those two graduation years. Now I'm going to go to the website so I can show you where you can find all of this information that I just went over. When you go to www.LaxManiax.com, you can go to the event schedule. It'll pop up. I don't know why that says spring. That should say summer. I will fix that. When you scroll down, here are all the dates and all of the locations and then who each tournament applies to, whether it's mandatory, optional, etc. So this is where you can find all the information I just went over on our LaxManiax website. That's just an overview of our tournaments. If you have specific questions about each tournament, you can go ahead and email me your question. But other than that, that should cover it. They're all listed on Athleon as well as our Maniax website. Going into our summer practice schedule. So we have 4 distinct regions that we hold summer practices in. The first region being North Florida, that is split into Jacksonville and Gainesville. The second region is the whole Orlando area, and this year they're being held in the Winter Park area for most of the time. The third region is Southeast Florida in Palm Beach Gardens, and that is being specifically held at the Benjamin School. And then the fourth region is Southwest Florida. We have a Bradenton practice, and then we also have a Naples practice. I'm skipping all over the place here, sorry. Okay, practices will start in mid-May, so they're about to start here in a couple weeks, and they will go through mid-July. Practices are highly recommended, and I want to say mandatory for all members in our club. You're paying for them in your membership, so we expect you to be there. Where you can find this specific regional info for your practices is also on the LaxManiax website or on Athleon. When you go to the LaxManiax website, all you have to do is go to this regional info section. There you have the North Florida, Central Florida, Southeast Florida, and Southwest Florida all up there. What's cool about the website, and we can thank our Director of Marketing, Jess Vossler, for this, she put together coaches that will be at practices, a little bit a bio about all of them, and then if you keep scrolling down, you have what region the practice is in, where they're going to be held, and all of the dates. It's very important that you find your region, you write down all of these dates in a calendar with the different locations because sometimes it will change per month, and then also the times. You will notice on here that we do not have practice the week of July 4th, the whole week. We give that off every year, so don't show up the week of July 4th thinking that we have practice. Make sure you're marking down these specific dates in your calendar. They are different for each region, so make sure you have the right region. We're still waiting on securing a field space in May for Central Florida. That will be done by the end of the week, hopefully. And then our Gainesville practices that we're going to offer once a week. So you don't have to travel to Jacksonville twice a week for my Gainesville players. So those two things are still being solidified, and once they are, they will be up on the LaxManiax website as well as Athleon. So here I have listed my head coaches for our college development programs. We have Sarah and Trey Burlingame, who work with the 2016s. You have Mary Hopkins and Rick Tillotson, who are working with the 2017s this summer. You have Don Balch and Rick Garrick, who are working with the 2018s, and then myself, Ellen Spangenberg, and Mel Hicks will be working with the 2019s. These are also people you can go to for local practice questions. Sarah Burlingame and Trey Burlingame will be running Southeast Florida practices. Rick Tillotson will be running the Southwest Naples practice. Rick Garrick will be helping me run the Central Florida practice, and then myself and Mel will be at the North Florida practices. So those are the head coaches that you can look for at your local practices if you ever have any questions that you need answered in person from one of them. And they will be working with all of the girls at practice. I know they have specific graduation years with their name here. These are just the specific teams that they are going to be coaching all summer long. But at practices, they'll be available to everyone. Administrative support staff. So if you want to take a moment to either take a picture of this, write these emails down, put these numbers in your phone, I highly recommend doing that. These are 3 very important women in our club. Linda Kelly, she's kind of the head of Lax Life events. Those are the tournaments like the SAT and the Heat Wave, and you'll also see her around Maniacs Day a lot. That is her email, that's her phone number. I am in the office with her all the time, so you can contact her or myself if you're trying to get a hold of one of us. You have Catherine Rolandelli. Catherine is awesome with anything that has to do with payment. Paying for a tournament, paying your membership fees, paying for a tournament package, payment plans, financial aid forms. All the above. If you have a question regarding payment or if you want to check on something you paid for, please go to Catherine Rolandelli. She will be able to help you much faster than I can. That is her email address as well as her phone number. And then you have Trina Balch. If you need things such as questions about uniforms, flight info, Athleon, and even your LaxManiax email accounts, Trina is the right person to go to. There is her email and there is her phone number. Again, you can always email or contact me by phone if you have a specific question in any of these areas, but one of these ladies would definitely be able to help you more and probably more quickly if it's regarding one of these topics. Now we're going to go over a little bit about our programs that are in LaxManiax. We have 3 specific LaxManiax programs that are statewide, and then we have 2 programs that are more just for the North Florida area where I actually am. So the first program is CDP. A long time ago, it used to be called TFG, Team Florida Girls, but over the last 2 years, we've made the change to call it the College Development Program. We have over 215 girls who have gone off to play at the next level, lacrosse Division 1, 2, 3, and club, and so we think College Development Program is more geared towards what our goals are for LaxManiax. They are the graduation years of 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. We have 2 CDP teams per graduation year, so that is 8 teams if I did my math correctly there. These CDP teams are made in the spring of your 8th grade year. So once you're in our middle school program and you're going into high school that next summer, we'll make those CDP teams in the spring, and that summer you end up going on the big event. So our 2019s just had their CDP teams made. Select. Right now we have a select option available for the class of 2019. We have 1 full team of 2019s on this select team. All events for this group are optional and they're pay as you play. If you are a select 2019 member and your goal is to work towards CDP, that is awesome, and we will be evaluating you this summer. We will be doing reevaluations in August, and that can be a goal that we set for you and that you achieve. But right now, if you've been selected for Select 2019, that is where you are. And we'll communicate anything with you if we make any changes on Maniacs Day. So make sure you're attending Maniacs Day because that's the last time we'll have all the 2019s together and we can make any last minute adjustments. The last program in our club is called the Middle School Elite Program. This is for the graduation years of 2020 through 2022. This is rising 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders. For our middle school group, all events are optional and you would pay individually for them as you play. When we make our middle school teams, it'll be based off of how many kids sign up. Sometimes it's ability, age, and even position. If we need middies on one team or more defenders on another team, that can play a part in our teams for tournaments. You'll work with different coaches at each event. And you might have different teammates at each event as well. So teams will be made up of kids throughout the whole state. We do not do region-based teams. The last 2 programs are specific to the Jacksonville area. The first is called North Florida Local Team, NFL Team. So if you ever hear me say NFL Team, this is what I'm referring to. It is a high school developmental team for the Jacksonville area. It goes by season, so right now we're in a summer membership. We try to have 1 to 2 teams for this group. Lee Robb is the head coach. She is my assistant at my high school that I coach at, and she's awesome, and it's for any players in the North Florida area who want to develop upon their skills from last season and not commit to the giant out-of-state events. Their mandatory events include Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, SAT, and the heat wave. So we put together a specific package for them as well for the summertime. The last program in our club is called Pipeline 210. So there's the original Pipeline over in Gainesville. I know some of our girls have been involved with that. And then we made a sister one over here in the Jacksonville area called Pipeline 210. It's an academy for kindergartners through 5th graders and then any beginning 6th through 8th graders. It will run alongside Maniacs practices, which is awesome. And then we also have one that's going to start at the beaches. So if anyone has any little sisters that are interested, or you have some family friends, make sure you share that info with them, and you can find information about Pipeline online. Now I'm going to go over specific team breakdowns and what is expected of each of these teams this summer. I know some people in our club are August to August members, and then some people are January to January members. We have 2 different membership periods, so my August to August members might have forgotten what they committed to doing, so this is going to be a great refresher for them. For CDP 2016, your mandatory events this summer are Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, the SAT, Lax Inception, Lax U Camp for anyone who is not committed, Champions Cup. Your optional events this summer are the Heat Wave and the Capital Cup. And just a heads up for anyone in the class of 2016, all fall events for you are going to be optional. It is your last season with us, so we let you choose what you would like to participate in the fall, and you just pay for that individual event and you go to it if you register to go to it. So that's just a little bit of information for the future season. CDP 2017's, your mandatory events are Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, SAT, Lax Inception, Lax U Camp for anyone who is not committed, and Champions Cup. Your optional events are the Heat Wave and the Capital Cup. CDP 2018's, this is a big summer for you. Your mandatory events include Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, SAT, Lax Inception, Lax U Camp, Champions Cup, and Capital Cup. Your optional events are Heat Wave. CDP 2019's, your mandatory events include Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, SAT, Lax Inception, Lax U Camp, National Draw, and then any optional events are just the Heat Wave. Select 2019's, your mandatory events are Maniacs Day. Your optional events are Lax Life Play Day, SAT, Father's Day Invitational, and Heat Wave. Middle School Elite, your mandatory event is Maniacs Day. Your optional events are Lax Life Play Day, SAT, Father's Day Invitational, and Heat Wave. My NFL team, your mandatory events include Maniacs Day, Lax Life Play Day, SAT, and Heat Wave. Again, if you have a mandatory tournament listed under your team's program, then you need to commit to going to that. It was expected when you signed up. It was expected when you became a member on that team. For some graduation years, we have wait lists, and if you're going to pick and choose what events you want to go to, we would gladly like to give someone your spot who's on our wait list. So make sure you're committing yourself to going to these events. If you have a conflict, then you need to communicate that effectively and ahead of time with your head CDP coach or myself. Now we're to the section that a lot of people have probably been waiting for. This is your need to knows and commonly asked questions. So just off the top here, the biggest one for me has been buddy parent versus solo travel. The difference between buddy parent and solo travel. So buddy parent is available for all events. If it's an in-state event, it's the only option that you have to travel. So buddy parent means that you will be going with your own parent, or you'll be going with another guardian. So maybe you're going to travel with another family that your parents give you permission to travel with. So that means that that parent or guardian is in charge of getting a hotel room with you and staying with you. They're in charge of getting you to and from the field each day. There are no team vans that you can get into, and there's no coach that can take you from point A to point B. So you're with your parent for the whole tournament. Then you have solo travel. Solo travel is only an option for out-of-state events. So we're talking about the Southern Alliance tournament, we're talking about the whole Mid-Atlantic tour, and then Capital Cup this summer. Those are tournaments that you can choose to be a solo traveler to. When you go solo, you do not need to worry about entering your flight information. Booking a hotel. Excuse me, I'm looking at the next bullet point. You do not need to worry about booking a hotel. When you sign up and pay the solo fee, that covers the hotel stay, that covers transportation to and from the field, and that covers breakfast. You will just need to bring some money for snacks and then a team dinners that we will go to each evening with your team. And then any extra spending money your parents choose to have you bring with you. So you do not need to worry about the hotel. The only thing you are responsible for when you choose to go solo is 1, signing up to go solo so I receive a confirmation. 2, booking your flight or travel to the destination and from the destination. So for this, we provide options for you. I know for the Southern Alliance tournament, I will be taking a van from Jacksonville. If you would like a seat in that van, there's an option to register to have a seat in that van. And you can do that on the online tournament registration link that I'm going to go to in a second. Other than driving to events, maybe you're getting dropped off there by a family friend or even your parent, you need to let me know that. The other way to travel is by flights. So we offer chaperone flights. It is your choice whether you want to choose to be on the chaperone flight and book the same flight or not. You don't have to book the same flight. Make sure that your flights, we're going to go over travel dates here in a section, fall into time frames that we can pick you up from the airport. So I'm going to specifically go tournament by tournament and let you know when those times would be. But you need to make sure that you're giving me that flight information when you book it so I can provide appropriate pickup and transportation to and from the airport and then to and from the fields. Make sure you're signing up for solo travel at least a week before the event. If you're signing up the day before, I'm probably not going to receive confirmation, and I do not want to leave anyone at the airport unattended for. So when we go to this tournament registration link, this can also be found on the LaxManiax website. It's going to ask for a password. The password is case sensitive, and it's LaxManiax05. The L, the A, the X, and the M are all capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. So again, this is in the members section. When you go to tournament registration, this is where you enter the solo flight information, and this is where you register for your summer tournaments. You're going to have to enter the password again. I apologize for all the passwords. It's the same password, LaxManiax05. This is the link you will receive. So going tournament by tournament, make sure that even if it was included in your tournament package, you're registering for it, and that's kind of a way to RSVP that you're going. Everyone needs to fill this out. I would say within this month, before Maniacs Day. You can go in and register for events all at once, or you can go in, you know you're going to Lax Life Play Day, go ahead and register for that one, and then go through the steps and close out. Come back, do another tournament. You can do them all at once, you can do them one at a time. So for example, here at the SAT, this is where you can choose to go solo. So say I want to go CDP solo. This is where I can choose the van option. If I don't want to choose the van option, I don't click it, and then later on I'm going to enter my flight information. Going over travel dates. Since we have that practice on June 5th, you will want to travel in the morning of June 5th or the early afternoon of June 5th. Unless you have a school conflict, that's totally okay. We will be having that practice in the evening time, later afternoon, evening. Hopefully we can avoid the rain this year. The van will be departing on the 4th because we're driving, so it takes a little bit longer. So keep in mind the van's departing on the 4th, but if you're flying, you should depart on the 5th, early in the morning or early afternoon. Leaving the tournament on the 7th. I do not have a tournament schedule, but my recommendation is to always go after 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock or later, you will be able to ensure enough time to safely transport your girls to the airport, enough time to check in so they're not feeling too rushed, things like that. If you do it any earlier, you're risking missing the flight or they would have to miss a game. Father's Day Invitational, that is in-state. Lax Inception, this is the beginning of the Mid-Atlantic Tour. You will want to travel in on the 12th to BWI Airport. So that is in Maryland. So on the 12th, there's nothing going on that day. You can use it as a whole travel day. My recommendation is to go in the afternoon time sometime. Don't get in the morning because our coaches actually will be driving over from Virginia because that's where we're going to end up. So we're renting vans from Virginia and driving over that morning. If you do catch a morning flight because maybe it was cheaper, then your daughter will be waiting in the airport for a little bit, and that's totally fine if that's okay with you, but just a heads up, the afternoon would probably be a better time on the 12th. Traveling to Lax U Camp. So if you are a buddy parent for Lax Inception, you are in charge of bringing your daughter to Lax U Camp and dropping her off at the appropriate drop-off time, which hasn't been announced yet. It's usually in the afternoon around 4 p.m. and later. It's usually after the Lax Inception tournament is over. If you can't get your daughter to Lax U Camp and she's buddy parent, make sure you notify a coach or you notify myself, and I will save room in the van for her to transport her to Lax U Camp. So that's an option you have as well, and you wouldn't have to pay anything for that. You would just need to communicate it with me. Going from Lax U Camp, where I highly recommend our players to be going as overnight. If you're a commuter, you would have to arrange your own transportation to the colleges, to the practice each day, and you wouldn't get to stay in the dorms with your teammates. So I would highly recommend being overnight. If you are a commuter, we will not be making room for you in the team vans. You'll have to go with your parent. Getting from Lax U Camp to the Champions Cup or to the National Draw. This is where it gets a little bit confusing, but it's actually really simple. If she is buddy parent for the Champions Cup or National Draw, and you cannot get to Towson University or don't want to get to Towson University to pick up your daughter and then drive over to these destinations, just let me know, and we will save a spot for her in the van. So if you would like her to have a seat in the van to drive to Richmond or to drive to New Jersey, and she's going to be buddy parent at this tournament, we can do that. She would get a seat in the van if you let me know. And then once we get to Richmond or New Jersey and we meet up with you, she would become buddy parent at that time. So you have two options. You can either pick her up early morning at Towson, which is probably the more difficult option, or you can let me know that she would like a seat in the van, and we will safely get her to the next destination city. If they are solo for the whole trip, solo at Lax U Camp, and then solo for Champions Cup and National Draw, then we will just transport them anyway because they're going to be with us all weekend. Then the last event that you'll need to travel from, we have the Capital Cup. What's tricky about the Capital Cup is that it is a 4-day event. It's a very popular event, so they spread it out over 4 days. The 17th and the 18th is when the 2016s and the 2018s are playing. The 19th and the 20th are when the 2017s are playing. So make sure you're taking a look at those travel dates. You want to travel the day before, and then you want to, again, leave late in the afternoon or late evening. Sometimes these IWLCA tournaments go pretty late. This is also where you can apply these roommate requests, and just for example, this is how you sign up to go solo. So here's the solo. Going solo is going to always be about $130 or so, depending on the hotel rates. This covers 2 to 3 nights in a hotel, as well as transportation and breakfast, like I explained. So hopefully that helps clarify where you register for your summer tournaments. Now, some of you are probably wondering why you have to do that because you just paid your tournament package. Well, I have August to August members who signed up for their tournament package back in August, so we want to make sure everyone is RSVPing for their spot. They're communicating with us which events they're going to, so if we see someone didn't sign up for a certain event, we can then contact and ask them why they didn't sign up for a mandatory event. So it's just kind of a double-checking process. Lax U Camp, I explained a little bit about Lax U, how the coaches come each morning, how we take them and visit colleges. I had sent out a survey through email that listed a bunch of different colleges in the Maryland area and close by that the girls can vote on to visit. So if you'd like your say in what colleges we visit in the afternoon, make sure you fill out that survey. I had sent it by email. Signing of online waivers. So This is very important, especially for our CDP girls and recruiting events. If you ever need to fill out a waiver to play in a tournament, I will email each team and each player on each team, middle school and older. So you never need to go online to a tournament website and find a waiver yourself and fill it out. If it needs to be done, it will come directly from me in an email with specific instructions on how to do that. Certain online waivers that actually are going to be that will need to be filled out by the end of the month that I will be sending out soon are Lax Inception, Champions Cup, and then that's it for now. So other ones that you can expect to have online waivers for would be maybe Father's Day Invitational and Capital Cup. If it's a tournament that MCC Sports runs and it's a Lax Life event, you will not need to do an online waiver because the company that oversees us is actually running the tournament. And we have all of your information on file. Emails before tournament. So I will email each team hopefully a week before a tournament. So if you signed up for an event and you're wondering what team you're on, you're wondering who's your coach, you're wondering where to be, don't panic. I am sending an email out a week, hopefully, before each event. So every single event listed on our calendar and you signed up for it, you will receive an email for me from it. Now, there's a lot of tournaments that are back to back to back, so please give me the benefit of the doubt that that email is coming. I will send it to the email listed for the player's email, and I will send it to the first parent's email that is listed. I can't send a bunch of mass emails from my LaxManiax email account because I have sent too many emails apparently, so I will most likely be using my Gmail account or my @me.com account. But any of those emails that have my name in it, they're coming from me, and you will get an email before each event, whether you're middle school, high school CDP, Select 2019, with where to meet your coach, who your coach is, what their contact info is, and what the tournament schedule is, and I'll send links and emails and updates and maps and all the above. So you will get that information. You don't need to email me asking for it. Refunds. We do give refunds for injuries. So if a player gets injured and she signed up and paid to play an event, we will refund that money. If the injury happens at the event, there's nothing we can really do. But if she gets injured and can't participate in an event you've already paid for, we do give refunds. And again, anything with finance-wise, goes to Catherine Rolandelli, and she can help you right away. Expectations for parents and players. When you became a Maniax member, there was a policies and procedures that you agreed to. I'm going to look right now to see if I can find it and just show you what it looked like. Give me a second here. Did I spell that right? Looks like I need to plug in my computer too. Let's see, policies and procedures. Here we go. While I'm plugging in my computer, pulling up our policies and procedures for 2015. Here it is. So policies and procedures. Make sure you have reviewed this. This was when you became a member, and I'm going to make sure we can find it on the LaxManiax website. This is refunds, club communications. This is where it explains solo and buddy parent travel. So I just wanted everyone in tournament sportsmanship, what we expect from the players as well as the parents. So make sure you have reviewed that, because if there ever becomes an issue, I will most likely reference our policies and procedures that you agreed to when you became a member. The next item I'm going to go over is our communication. So for our high school girls, we set up a LaxManiax email account. If you do not have access to your LaxManiax email account, make sure you are getting with Trina Balch about that. and we also use Athleon. So what I'm going to do now is go over these websites, and then I promise we will be done here. So Athleon is kind of a third party where you create your own username and password. So there's not a username and password for LaxManiax. You got a welcome email when you first became a member, so everyone should have received that by now. If you haven't, Trina Balch would be the correct person to email for that. Athleon we use basically for calendars, announcements, and then tournament event details. So going to Athleon, I'm just going to show what it looks like. Looks like it's not popping up. So I'm going to just go onto my computer and show you Athleon. Here we go. So when you go to log into Athleon, you're going to get this page here. I'm going to log in right now to show you. Hopefully it won't take long. Do not save my password. So again, Athleon is used specifically for this calendar section right here. So when you go to Athleon, you go to communication, you click on the calendar, and all events are listed. These green events are practices, the blue events are tournaments, the black event is a camp. So let's click on Southern Alliance Tournament just to get an idea of what something would look like. So here you go to the specific event, you click on the date, here's the location, and then there can be people talking about things. So this is where Linda Kelly will post things about hotels. This is where Trina Balch will post chaperone flight information if you would like to book the same flight. It is your choice. And then this is also where I will put practice times, any details like that. You just have to make sure you're clicking on the right date. Sometimes it's on the first listed one, sometimes it's on the second. You have to play around with it a little bit. Another thing we use a lot is this announcement section. The only problem we've had with this is that when I make an announcement, it goes to the whole club. So if I want to make an announcement about practice being canceled for a certain region, we will say, attention, see down here, Central Florida members, your practice schedule, etc., etc. So if it's ever for a specific region, it will say that. We can also send them as text messages. So this summer, please be prepared to receive some Athleon announcements and text messages. I did receive some emails a couple of weeks ago about some players who were not receiving my emails, and the reason you probably weren't receiving them is because it was an Athleon announcement. This announcement will go to the email you used to log in. It will only go to that email address, so make sure you're checking that email account. And make sure you also have this set up, otherwise you won't receive these announcements. The next one I want to show you is our Maniax website. It has been redone this summer and we're really excited about it. We need to thank Jess Vossler for that, our Director of Marketing. Our Maniax website is www.LaxManiax.com. On here, this is where I showed you the regional info, a little bit of information about ourselves. This is where you want to be a lot, your member section. The recruiting database is big for our CDP girls. Make sure you have checked that out and you're starting on your recruiting. We have a Hall of Fame section. So once you commit, we like to announce it on our Facebook page as well as on here. We have everyone listed. Again, the username, if you ever need one, you will need this for the recruiting database. It's Maniax lowercase, and then the password is LaxManiax05. This password is the same. A lot of people ask me about this, so make sure you write this down. It will not change. The L, the A, the X, and the M are all capitalized. Make sure you're checking out that recruiting section, and you're familiar with our website as well. Mail.laxmaniax.com is what your Maniax email will look like. It goes to something called webmail. I'm going to, if I can pop it up here. email. So this is mine personal, but this is what it will look like. Webmail Network Solutions. It's always your first dot your last name, and then when you first had it, it was a standard password, but then you get to change it to be whatever password you would like. If you have email trouble, make sure you are contacting Trina Balch again. Also, make sure you are linked up to our Facebook page. That's where we make announcements about players who have committed. Our Instagram, we post some funny pictures on there, and then our Twitter is linked up to our Facebook and Instagram as well. We'll be doing different competitions this summer, so we're really excited about integrating that more, and you'll hear more information about that soon. Fundraising, this is my last item, and then I am done talking your ear off. So fundraising, this is going to be for all of our Maniacs members. This is new this year, so we're trying it out. It's going to be during Maniacs Day, so this is the only time that every member is of our club is together, so we're really excited about this opportunity. More information is coming soon, so your local coaches are going to have specific directions about it, and it's great that we have these practices before Maniacs Day so we can kind of prepare for our fundraising event on Maniacs Day. So I'm going to be getting with your local directors, Sarah Burlingame, Trey Burlingame, Rick Tillotson, Rick Garrick, and then myself for all the different regions, and explaining what we're doing so that they can hand you the paperwork at practices and explain it to you in person. I just wanted to put that little bit in your ear so that you had an idea that we would be doing this at Maniacs Day. That is all I have. I hope I have been able to address some commonly asked questions. I apologize for anything funny I said or some technical difficulties. I sound like I'm talking to myself in my office here. So please contact me at ellen.spangenberg@laxmaniax.com. I know my name is long. I apologize. For any questions you have regarding this, what I've been over, please make yourself familiar with our website, with the summer registration link, with Athleon. Those are the biggest things. And then if you have any travel questions, hopefully I've cleared up some confusion that's been going on. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I'm really excited to see everyone on Maniacs Day. Thank you. Bye-bye.